Hello there all you fantastical superheroes, this is Frags the Malaysian Gamer, and today I will be showing you guys an interesting take on the action RPG genre called Stories: The Path of Destinies. I can assure you that the game is a lot better than its generic title. So what is it? Okay, from what I've played very little of it, just the first level of it I believe, which is just a tutorial mission. So I'll be continuing from chapter 1 actually, so I won't be playing from the very beginning because I want to show, or I want to discover the main piece of action, not just tutorialized levels. So it's an action RPG, not unlike Diablo, but it's a bit more streamlined in a lot of ways, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, with a title like The Stories: The Path of Destinies, the emphasis seems to be on stories, and apparently from what I've read is that it has like branching narrative. Basically there's a bit of some decision making going on and you will affect the story basically, and apparently these are like different sort of stories being narrated by a single narrator. So let me just show you this. Okay, let's continue where I left off. It runs on the Unreal Engine 4 engine, I believe. Unreal Engine 4, if I'm not mistaken. It's an Unreal game. It looks pretty nice in a very artsy fartsy sort of stylized look. I really like the way it looks though. But actually the first level that I played wasn't so great, the tutorial level. It sort of sets things on, it gives you a wrong impression of the game. Let me just put it that way.
As he set foot on the island, Reynado could not help but feel a tinge of guilt. He'd left Lapino behind. He hoped the Mad Rabbit had somehow escaped the ravens. He hoped they hadn't eaten him. If they had, he hoped they hadn't eaten him alive. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Reynado never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
Okay, so there's a lot of narration going on here. So my current objective is to get the Sky Reaper, whatever. So this is chapter 1 and there's a lot of narration going on here because previously I had an option actually to pick a guy or take the sky ship, I believe. So I picked the sky ship and I think the game just sort of reacts to those decisions that I've made. So first off the bat, it looks like a Diablo or Torchlight kind of game, but it controls rather differently. I believe the controls seem more suited to the controller. I'm using the mouse and keyboard. I'm playing this on the PC, by the way. Because it's kind of weird, because you move your character by right mouse button. You just hold down the right mouse button and you attack by the left mouse button. So it's a movement uses a different mouse button and attacking uses a different.
Practice your moves, thought Reynado. Keeps you limber.
Okay, so you see the narration sort of follows what you're doing, so it has a little bit of how, if you've played Bastion by Supergiant Game, which is an amazing game, you guys should really play Bastion. It had what they call a dynamic narrator, so the narration happened based on what you did. So I guess this is a bit like Bastion actually. It has that dynamic narration thing going on, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to just continue here instead of just talking my way throughout this video. So there's something going on there. It's sort of changing the camera angle and it's beckoning me to go in there. Okay, so there's something over
If
here.
I craft a sword now, it's going to be really short.
So there's a sort of workbench thingy going on, but as you can see, I only have a sword here. It's pretty straightforward, very simplified, but I don't think this game needs to have a really deep crafting mechanic actually, but it's there. Very simplified, and I need more ore to actually get a level 2 sort of hero sword. So obviously I can also craft gems. Okay, gem socketing. Oh, I can socket gems to them. Of course, I don't have any gems. Your gauntlet has 3 sockets into which you can put gems in. Okay, so I can select a gem. Each gem has 3 levels. Yada yada yada. If you've played Diablo 3, you know exactly what you're getting into. Energy on kill locked. Oh, you have not found this gem. Okay. Of course, I don't have any gem. So I'm gonna go back. So that's the workbench. Moving into this place, and there you see the game actually does a lot of references to other IPs or uses characters, and it's just chock full of references to other beloved fantasy IPs like Dungeons and Dragons. This is the Eye of a Beholder in Dungeons and Dragons.
You blinked.
Okay, I'm gonna kill this guy. So in a single hit I can actually kill the guy. If he detected me, I probably have to fight him. It will probably take a lot more effort killing him. Okay, so I have this. Activate. More Eye of the Beholders here. Okay, I'm gonna hide here. Interesting. There's
The
some
people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the lost gods, thousands had died. But Reynado had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one. Hero Wall. Hero Sword. Ice Wall. Ice Cube.
So I need an ice sword. Yeah, I need an ice sword. Okay, this is a combat going on here. There's a bit of what's interesting is that there's a bit of a Batman sort of combo counter sort of combat mechanic going on. So you see the sort of exclamation mark means that he's going to attack, which means that I got to attack that guy immediately, or I'll take damage. Okay, attack him like that. Perfect.
Renado's blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
Yep, I need to smash. Smashing stuff gets me stuff, so smashing is good. Health. It's a hero sword. Yeah, I need to get in here. Okay, that's easy.
Anyone ever tell you you have a lovely eye? No?
Okay, so there's also a sort of grappling mechanic going on here. I can actually carry him and throw him like that. I just hold him or carry him by just holding the right or the left mouse button actually.
Ah, a puzzle. Reynado loved puzzles. Except when he couldn't figure them out. On the other hand, if there was a puzzle, it was probably meant to keep people away from something good.
Okay, so there's a bit of level pushing puzzles. Okay, this altar thing basically is an upgrade system. So if I've earned 2 skill points, I have 1 skill point available. I have the hook, which I get pressing the Alt button, which I hope I can show you guys. One more is actually, this thing is locked. I can press and control to use it, a supernatural dash.
It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot. Like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
So Alt is like a grappling hook and control sort of dashes. Alt and control.
There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist, but first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart, a core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her.
Okay.
She would find him.
Alright. So here you see, this is the interesting bit of the game. So I have a choice to make. I can choose to, for some inexplicable reason, Reynado, which is the hero that we are playing, chose Zenobia. So Reynado has found the armature of the Skyripper. Without the core, it would just be an empty and useless shell. Maybe he should go see Zenobia, who had just invaded a city nearby. She was the Emperor's adopted daughter and greatest general, but she was also his old friend. Reynado didn't know why, but he felt the urge to go see her. Okay, so Zenobia, or he needed to go get the core of Skyripper, obviously. So Reynado has found blah blah blah. The only reason one would seek the armature was to build a legendary weapon that had once banished the lost gods. Obviously Reynado should get the core. Or I should go and see my friend, or I should go and get the core. But who knows, you know, this thing here, yeah, it could actually have impact later on in the story. So I'll go and see friend. I mean, friends are there for a reason, right? So it's like that.
Reynado asked himself why he changed course to confront Zenobia. He'd no idea. Sometimes he would just do things, and he could never figure out why he'd done them. Usually, they worked out. After all, he was a hero.
Okay, so that was chapter 1. I believe now we are getting into chapter 2. And things are getting a lot more interesting. At first, in the first tutorial section, I was not quite impressed by the story. The story just seemed quite kind of hokey and childish. It just didn't grab my attention. Now I think things are getting interesting. I mean, I'm not interested in the amateur or anything like that, but I'd like to see
The truth is, though, you wanted to
how
see
the
her,
decisions
wasn't it?
would have an impact.
It had been a dozen years since Sword through school. He'd followed every rumor about her, every scrap of news. Not that he still loved her. After all, she was his enemy. No, it was solely because know your enemy. But it would be great to see her. Even if they faced off across sword points, as they'd done so many times at school. The world was a less interesting place without her.
Okay, so I've got to see Zenobia here, so I am going to go and get Zenobia.
Can't we just agree to disagree?
Alright,
Said Reynado.
attack.
No?
Attack this guy. Okay. Yeah, I can't. I suppose, what's interesting here is that because I can't open this door, because it's the wrong door, I need to get an ice sword or something like that. I guess I gotta craft it. Which means that I believe there's a bit of backtracking in the game. Quite possibly.
Gogglers. Reynado hated gogglers. It was almost impossible to sneak past them. If one didn't spot you, another one would.
Gogglers, gogglers, gogglers. Okay, gogglers are like the eye of the beholder. The giant eye things. Okay. Oh crap. I'm gonna kill this dude.
These things really slice like ham.
Oh, gogglers here. Okay. Done there.
Reynado wasn't entirely sure how he was going to capture Zenobia. She'd be expecting him. And he didn't have Lapino to cook up a clever plan. Why was it again that he hadn't got the core?
I need water essence and so on to actually craft that winter thorn, I believe. I need a lot of ores and water essence, so I don't have that thing, so I can't really craft that sword actually. Yeah, that's the wrong sword.
Think of all the artisans he was creating employment for. Truly, he was a job creator.
I don't have enough skill points. Oh, more at ravens attacking. Oh, the combat is pretty easy. I can like dash. Oh crap, that guy attacked me. Attack. Actually, that control dash is like pretty useful because I can avoid the raven's attacks. There you go. It's just a matter of
so much about
right
What was
clicking
it
and
again?
left clicking. Okay, I must admit that combat system there was quite satisfying. At first it is a bit it's a bit weird because you're so used to just left clicking all the way in Diablo and stuff. That was a bit weird, but the way it changed and the way you use the special abilities that you get, your skills, pretty damn cool, I must admit. Oh wait, there's something to interact here.
Reynado slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up on her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She vanished. And he suddenly noticed he couldn't move except his mouth. In fact, Sudi couldn't keep his mouth shut. He told Zenobia everything. Skyripper, the rebellion plans, even where the secret rebel base was, until he was hoarse. It was some kind of truth spell, a talky truth spell. She called her father by Farspeaker Toad and filled His Majesty in.
But why didn't he get the core?
Croaked the Farspeaker in something like His Majesty's croak. Because I missed you, darling. Reynado grinned.
He doesn't even know why.
Frowned Zenobia.
That makes no sense. It's a trap.
Shouted the Emperor.
I'll meet you at the outpost, and I'll bring my interrogators.
If Reynado came face to face with the Emperor, maybe he could assassinate him. But maybe it would be smarter and safer to turn Zenobia against her father.
That's interesting, yeah. Perhaps I should turn Zenobia against her father, maybe that would work. Or maybe I can confront him. But I prefer turning Zenobia against her father, so he could turn Zenobia against her father, he could show her evidence of the Emperor's madness, but they would need to pay a visit to the scientists on the Nexus. He knew exactly what to say to make her listen. Alright.
What are you doing? Asked Zenobia. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He asked her. She shook her head. He told her. His Majesty wanted to bring the lost gods back. They could make him an eater of souls, an immortal. But to seal his bargain with them, he needed a sacrifice. Someone who truly loved him. She was stunned. Furious. You're lying. Under a truce spell? It's a trick. You can't prove that. Take me to the observatory, and I will.
Each chapter is pretty short and succinct. It's pretty nice. It keeps the story moving at a rather brisk pace, which I like a lot.
What kind of proof could you possibly have? She said as they landed on the Nexus. Your father ritually sacrificed a village, and he left witnesses? The scientists resurrected one. Well, it's not really alive, but it can talk. A true witness. She frowned. The dead can't lie. Well, I bet they could. They just don't have any reason to. She nodded grimly. You go on ahead. I don't want the ravens to see me.
Okay, so I've got to bring Zenobia to the true witness. Okay, because I've got to turn her against her father. And she's not following me. Okay.
I'd have felt a little better.
Destroy barrels and destroy this thing. Oh, I can't destroy that. Is there anything here? Nope. Go up the stairs. Okay, so here I can use my alt skill to sort of like slingshot, or what do you call it, a grappling hook or sorts. Okay, like that. Now right click to move. Ravens. They're all dead.
Oh, this really didn't have much in the way of safety features, did it?
Okay, yeah. No railings. I can't go through this because it's the wrong sword.
Reynado felt like he was ready to learn new things. Thank goodness he didn't have to go to school for that.
Attack immediately when the previous attack hits to land a perfect strike, bonus damage and double combo bonus. Okay, let's try that one. Okay. Oh. So it's just a matter of moving my mouse cursor to the right section of the screen. Just clickety clickety the left mouse button. And there you have
It
it.
wasn't his fault. They looked so breakable.
Okay, health is full. Okay.
She caught up with him. She seemed troubled. All right, out with it, he said. He sent his ravens to search for an ancient crystal. Something called the Iblis Stone. Iblis? Isn't he one of the lost gods? He shivered. A stone
Iblis.
dedicated to one of the lost gods. Well,
This
that
is
could give
Satan.
great power. But what would the god demand in return?
Who needed bridges anyway?
I'm flying on a purple magic thingy across these floating crystal thingies. Oh, there's ore here. Let that be ore. I need a lot of ore actually to craft the swords that I
The
need.
scientists at the observatory had a true witness to one of the Emperor's blasphemous rituals. The dead could be made to speak for a short while. Interestingly, they could not be made to lie. After all, what do they have to lose or gain by lying?
Look badass. Hero sword. I don't have enough yeah, I'm pretty close to making my sword level 2. Okay. Okay.
Energy spheres. Easy to dodge, but boy do they sting if you didn't pay attention.
Okay. Oh, okay, this is some interesting mechanics here. I must say. Oh, avoid those things. Oops. I don't need that. Okay, I have food here. Some more of these bad raven dudes. Sometimes the camera angle gets a bit crazy.
Come over here.
Oh, you can use the grappling hook
Reynado
to sort of
hated warlocks. The
pull
way they
the
could
bad
stay
guy.
back and lobbed pain and death from a distance. Cowards. Really dangerous, effective cowards.
Avoid the warlock's fire. That shouldn't be a problem since I've got a dash thing going on.
I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials, thought Reynado.
What about crafting a sword? Oh, okay, something's happened here.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The ravens had burned the reanimated witness to cinders. Reynado was stunned.
There goes
There
my
goes my proof. These were scientists, not rebels, Zenobia said, upset. Why would he do this? I don't know. Let's go to the fleet and ask him. Yes. I'll meet you on the mountains. There's something I have to get first. But could he afford to meet her in the mountains? He'd given the Empire the location of the secret rebel base. They would need rescuing.
Okay, so I can meet Zenobia on the mountains, or I can rescue the rebel base. Interesting thing, you know, based on what's happened, you've got to decide. And is that a right decision and a wrong decision? I don't know, you know, unless I play the game again. But for a first impression, I must say this is quite an interesting game. It's going for about 31 ringgit. I believe it's 31 ringgit on Steam. So it's, if you put it at that price, you know what, it's totally worth it. Like it's not Diablo, it's not going to replace Diablo 3 or even Torchlight or other action RPG games, because the action RPG is sort of like it is the vehicle that brings you to its story and its branching narrative and dynamic narrative as well, which is quite impressive. The story so far, you know, it's really hard to say whether it's awesome or it sucks or anything like that. It's not really to my kind of taste. I'm not really feeling really connected to the story. I mean, not really connected, but what I meant to say is that I don't find it compelling. I'm sorry, I just had to use the word compelling there for some reason. But the mechanics and the idea that there's a really clear branching storyline thing, that's compelling. But the story itself, I don't know about it. You know, maybe you might like it, I don't know. But for what it is, story is the part of Destiny, is a pretty darn good game. I'm quite impressed. I can't tell for certain. I'm pretty sure that there might be a twist in the story later on. I'm pretty sure there will be a twist later on in the story. So you can find this game on Steam for 31 ringgit, and yeah, go and check it out, you know. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate your support and all my subscribers and viewers to this channel. So thanks again. This is Frags, the Malaysian Gamer, signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video.